What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 3 of On the Ball City, here with Norwich City on Football Manager 2014. Hopefully you guys are good. Since the last episode I've played through a fair few games. Today I have for you guys the Capital One Cup quarter-final against Fulham. As you can see here, the remaining 8 teams in the Capital One Cup are all Premier League sides. We've had a fairly generous draw against Fulham, and that is the game that I'm going to be live comming today. But first and foremost, quick look at the fixtures. Last episode was an amazing 3-0 win against Villa. Since then, a little bit of indifferent form. You know, we've continued to keep the points ticking, which is vital. We actually go into this game off a 2-game losing streak, which is kind of less than ideal. But all in all, you know, we've continued to get points, and I believe we have somewhere in the region of kind of 12 points from our last 6. In fact, no, I'm trying to count now. 12 points from our last 9. Well, that's a little bit different, but it's still good form. To stay up in the Premier League, you need about 38 points. And if you can average a point a game, you're certainly on course to do that. And at the moment, we're well ahead of that. So anyway, first things first game we had of this tough little run on the back of the Villa game, a 1-1 draw against Everton. Johan Almanda grabbing a goal that put us into the lead. Unfortunately, Lukaku came through and managed to get a goal for Everton in the second half after Ruddy had to be subbed off with an injury. So that was a little bit unfortunate. Fortunately for us, it hasn't been too kind of major an injury. He actually had a torn groin muscle? That's not right. I'm very confused now because it said he was injured. It wasn't a long injury, but I thought he was still injured. Why did I sub him off? Maybe it was just a knock. I'm confused. Answers on a postcard. Let's move on. What day of the week is it? Where am I? I don't even know. Anyway, next game, obviously, League Cup draw against Doncaster. We won this with a last-minute goal by Robert Snodgrass. Great goal for him. A game that was really close between us and Doncaster. I kind of rotated the side a little bit. Almost paid the price for it. Fortunately for us, though, we had one chance late on in the game that we took when it fell our way. Nice little bit of attacking play, and that is one thing that I've actually changed with my tactic. The start of the season, I was kind of fancying myself to play free at the back and kind of hoofball counter-attack, whereas I've actually started to play a little bit of attacking football, and it's actually starting to work for us, which is quite nice to see. But Snodgrass with the goal there, good goal for him. Next result, as you can see, 1-1, 0-0. I'm looking at the wrong bit. 0-0 against Man City. Good result. We kind of parked the bus, but we did a job here. We played well, defended as a unit. Basong with a 7.4 rating was superb, and all in all, 0-0 is a result that I'll certainly take away against Man City. Unfortunately for us, our kind of little unbeaten spell away from home ended after our 3rd game in a row away from home, this time away at Newcastle, a game that we didn't deserve to get anything from. Newcastle were just a better team, and it showed. As you can see, they had far more shots. Balanta getting his 2nd own goal of the season, which is not great, but one of those things, and less than ideal. Fortunately for us, though, our home form did continue in kind of the positive manner that it has done throughout the season so far, with a 3-1 win against Arsenal. Amazing result, this one. 3-1. As you can see, looking at the stats, Arsenal were a good side, but they did have Mertesacker sent off in the 37th minute, and that certainly cost them. It gave us a chance back into the game, and from 1-1 at half-time, I set us off a little bit more attacking, and Van Wolfswinkel for us, and Seri grabbing the goal. Seri, of course, the young Italian who joined this season for fairly small fee. I think it was just under £1 million, and he featured a little bit in the Cup, and I decided to give him a little bit of a run out in the Premier League, and so far he's been playing well. He has improved a hell of a lot. As you can see there, Mertesacker getting a goal. He was already booked. He saw his red card branded to him just a few minutes later, and from there in the second half we turned the screw. Seri here working the ball nicely, obviously alongside Van Wolfswinkel, who's been one of our main goal scoring threats, and these two guys worked really well off each other this game. Van Wolfswinkel getting the first there, good little finish, Confident finish by him. Szczęsny had no chance, and then just a few minutes later we made sure of the tie with just 12 minutes left on the clock. Seri this time with the goal. The 17-year-old Italian striker started playing in the under-21s now, and as you can see there, doing what he does in the air, finding the back of the net. So that was a really good result for us. And again, that game I started off playing counter-attack at home, and as soon as Mertesacker got sent off, I went for it, and I guess a little bit of bravery on my behalf to tell the team to go a bit more attacking was rewarded. Anyway, since then, 4 games that you'd say were slightly easier. That said, you really wouldn't be able to tell given the results. 2 losses coming against Stoke and Crystal Palace, but we started off this kind of run of results with a 1-1 draw against Hull. Not the best performance by the team, perhaps fortunate to get a draw, but still a point on the board, I suppose. And then on the back of this, we did get a 3-1 win against Fulham, who of course we have today. Hooper grabbing 2, Johnny Howson grabbing another. A game that we played fairly well in. We're just a little bit more clinical than Fulham in, and that was really the difference between the two sides. As I mentioned though, going into this game today against Fulham, we've not scored in our previous 2 games. As you can see, home defeat against Stoke was really disappointing. We played well this game, one of those games where sometimes you get something when you shouldn't do, as in the case of Stoke, and I'm kind of guilty of having done this a few games where we've got kind of the odd win and the odd point when perhaps we shouldn't. But today it was Stoke's day to kind of, I guess, get that rub of the green and kind of get the points when perhaps they didn't play so well. So that was disappointing. And then on the back of that, against Crystal Palace, a 50-50 game that just didn't fall our way. Jedinak grabbing the only goal of the game for Crystal Palace. A home win for them. They were bottom of the league going into that game, so a little bit disappointing to lose to them in that manner. Anyway, looking at the league here, we find ourselves in 12th after 16 games. You can see 20 points on the board. Pretty happy about that. The league is unbelievably close this year, to be honest. No team's really walked away from it. You can see Southampton in second are a bit of a shock. Stoke are up there as well, so perhaps that defeat against them isn't as bad as it first looked. And you'll notice of Arsenal's 2 defeats, obviously, 1 came against ours. So at the top of the table, it's fairly close. And then if you look just behind us, kind of anyone could get relegated at this point. It's still very tight. No team has really dropped off, I guess, the table completely and looked out of it. 3 teams all on 12 points occupying the bottom 3 spots, and then a lot of teams slightly ahead. Perhaps a nice little cushion for us of 8 points, but certainly not comfortable, and we're going to continue to... we're going to need to continue to play in the way we have done this season so far. So anyway, as I mentioned, we do go into today's game against Fulham slightly against... I guess, a run of 4. Oh, against, what's the word? A bit of adversity. Is it adversity? That's the word. A bit of an iffy period. So I'm hoping this is kind of where we can turn things around and set the record straight. I'm actually going to play Van Volswinkel and Seri, I think, today. Hooper's been out injured. Hooper's kind of, he's not had the best season ever. He starts this season injured on FM anyway, and so he's not been there. But then we haven't really had too many goal scorers emerge. Van Volswinkel's grabbed a few. Hooper has grabbed an odd few. But Seri, the young Italian, I like the look of this guy, and I really want to get embedded into the first team and kind of, I guess, getting as much first team football as he can, because it's only ever going to improve and help his development. So anyway, we'll see how we get on today. We are at home for this tie against Fulham. There is an outside chance that we could win a bit of silverware here, given the fact that there's only 2 of the big teams left in it. I think one of them's Man City and the other's Chelsea. Don't quote me on that, but I remember looking through the teams left in the competition and thinking, you know what, we have a shout here. So I'm going to go for the win. We are in the quarter-final now. Obviously, the Carling Cup would be a nice little bit of silverware. You've got to be in it to win it, and we are in it at the moment. And hopefully we can set the record straight with this game and kind of stop the sliding form that we're having. I mean, the last win that we did get was against Fulham, and Fulham score immediately. Well, this was not what I needed. But no, last game we did play was against Fulham, and it was a 3-1 win. That was the last time we won a game. Let me turn off highlights here just quickly. We don't need to see it twice. I don't want to see Berbatov score a headed goal from 2 yards out. Oh, okay. Not ideal, but we're still in it. We're still in it. Looking at the stats, fairly 50-50 game. Both teams creating a fair share of chances. Fulham slightly edging possession, which is a little bit worrying at home. But I'm going to kind of stick with our attacking philosophy. I've got a few ideas for how I might change things going into the second half. You can see Fulham having a little bit more of the ball. So the changes that I'm going to make here, I'm actually going to put hassle opponents. I really want to kind of... what's the word, pressure Fulham a little bit more, but then go a little bit more direct when we are attacking. At the moment, we're giving them a little bit of room to play in, and usually that works quite nicely because I like to give teams room to play in and then kind of hit them on the break quite attackingly. But this game, it really hasn't worked for us. I'm hoping just changing things up. We'll see how we get on here. Going more direct, but more pressure, trying to up the tempo of the game a little bit more and create more opportunities. We've got a chance here. Seri buries it, the young Italian, his 4th league goal of the season. That is why I gave him a punt in this first team. He's been superb for us, and he scores again there. So yeah, at the moment we're not looking too bad. 20 minutes left on the clock. Perhaps time to make a change or two. Olsen is really struggling. We've got Garrido on the bench. Johnson's already injured. He's been sent off a few times this season. I'm not going to even risk it. Leroy Fer can slot in at centre mid, and Gaitan will move into the centre attacking mid position. But at the moment we're not looking too bad in this game. We're definitely still in it. We're playing well. Looking at the chances, fairly 50-50. We've got another chance here. Howson, Van Volswinkel, Seri is in the centre. Howson hits the post! And it goes out, and Torrent will dribble that away. We are playing well in this second half. Created a few more chances than in the previous half. Unfortunately, not so many more on target, but we're still looking fairly potent, I suppose, in attack. And we are going to added time. I'm going to tell the guys they've been unlucky so far. We're doing okay. There's time left in this game. We've probably had the better of the second half. First half, perhaps Fulham edged it. Last half, we created a lot more chances. Perhaps not many shots on target, but got some fresh legs on in midfield and at left wing back, and we've always got a chance of scoring. Gaitan whips in the ball. Basong buries it in off the crossbar. 2nd goal of the season for him. 2-1. Let's go, boys. Great goal. Great finish, and he is loving it. Okay, 15 minutes. 15 minutes to hold on. I'm not going to switch more defensively. I kind of feel like attack is the best form of defence at times, and now we have 5 minutes left just to see this out. 2 minutes, 1 minute. Come on, blow the whistle, ref. I want full time. I want to be in the semi-final. I want a trip to Wembley. Why not defend this? I'm not even sure if you get a trip to Wembley for the semi-finals of the Carling Cup. Who knows? That was a good performance, though. In fact, I think it's over 2 legs, the Carling Cup semi-final, but I am very happy with that performance. Played very well. Seri, 3rd top goal scorer in the competition. He's loving it. And look who is top, guys. It's a sign. I don't know what it's a sign of. It's all conspiracies. The fact that Vidra's top goal scorer in the competition. But no, that was a great result for us there. Good performance. I'm not sure what the other results were in the League Cup. Let's have a look. Chelsea went through, United went through, West Ham went through, so we're kind of hoping for that West Ham draw potentially, and then hopefully Chelsea and Man U can knock each other out in the other semi-final. But the draw, of course, is never that kind to us. We'll see what the draw ends up being just quickly. Let's view the draw. Let's see what happens. Automatic draw. Come on, West Ham. I want to see your name out the hat alongside ours. Chelsea, Man U. Oh. Well, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, okay, so we are going to have to do things the hard way, I suppose, here. But still, it's not too bad. It's over 2 legs. We've got a chance. We've got Swindon in the FA Cup. That's not of too much interest. So I suppose I will join you guys for the League Cup semi-final first leg, where we will be taking on the mighty Chelsea. Away from home, where, of course, previously we got beaten 4-0. So that's going to be a tricky one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to smash the like button. Really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you for your support across this series. It really is appreciated. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'm going to talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.